All right, y'all. I'm about to be brief with this word, but it's kind of comical, y'all. It's kind of comical, but it's an analogy I want to share with y'all. And the people I'm talking to, it might be a warning, or opportunities for you to, reflect over yourself, and just to see what areas you can work on. On this channel, we dedicated to becoming a higher expressions of ourselves. We working hard every day. We repenting every day. We drawing near to God every day. That's the focus. But where I'm getting at with this, y'all, is I work at different facilities, and one of the facilities I work at, I'm not really that familiar with the environment. So I was walking outside, and it was semi-dark outside. So in that area, when it's kind of dark outside, I didn't know they were prone to having, frogs out there, okay? So I'm walking outside, y'all, and I almost stepped on a frog, y'all. And it was a big frog. I was like, oh my goodness. So I started walking along like, oh my goodness, I almost stepped on a frog. Then, I had to make it a little comical. And I'm like, girl, you almost stepped on your prince. Now, y'all listen to where I'm getting at with this, okay? Y'all know Princess and the Frog. Y'all know, it was a prince, but it came as a frog. So where I'm getting at with this is to the ladies, don't step on your prince. Okay, maybe he don't show up how you want him to show up. Maybe he got some character flaws. Maybe he got some things, some trauma that he's been through in his childhood, and you holding that against them. And I'm saying this if you're in a relationship and if you're not in a relationship. I'm saying this if you're in a relationship because oftentimes we get too caught up in looking at what people not doing and who they not, and not looking at the potential or seeing who they are. And you know how they really not that bad of a person. They just probably not everything that we want them to be. Now, y'all keep in mind, I'm not asking for anybody that's watching this to settle. I'm not asking that at all. Okay, use discernment with this word. Okay. But, the frog, came to her all slimy and ugly. And it's like, oh, look at this green frog. You know what I'm saying? And it, she didn't know it was a prince. She didn't know that this was the person that was connected to her destiny, to her, opening up her restaurant and, reaching her goals and dreams. She didn't know this person was about to walk out her purpose with her because she was too busy looking on the outside, if y'all get what I'm saying. And when I say looking on the outside, I'm not necessarily talking about, somebody's physical appearance. I'm talking about like maybe they might lie time to time. Or, maybe they're not showing up quite how you want them to show up, but they're not a bad person. They come home every night, they love you. Or even if you're not in a relationship, when God send that right person, don't step on your blessings, is what I'm saying. And y'all know on this channel, I'm quick to get on here and talk about, leave them alone, but also just use discernment, kind of be in alignment with it, if y'all get what I'm trying to say. And I hope it's coming out how I'm trying to express it to y'all, okay? And this can go for men too, okay? I'm not going to use a frog analogy for the men, but, maybe you got a woman and she a diamond in the rough. She not showing up as that beautiful diamond right now. She got some things she can work on. You know what I'm saying? She probably got some daddy issues, some mommy issues, or, maybe she just, kind of, dismissive, or she seem a little distant or whatever. Give her an opportunity to become that diamond in the rough that she is. Give her the opportunity to become, who God created her to be. So what I'm saying, y'all, is, don't be so caught up with what you want, like it got to be exactly what you want, and you miss your blessings, okay? So like I said, don't step on your frogs. Give that woman an opportunity. She might be a diamond in the rough, okay? That's all I'm just trying to share with y'all. And I'm getting at with this because I was talking to, one of my mothers. I'm not going to even tell you, where I call her my mother from or anything. But she and I talked about a week or two ago, and we talked for about 3 hours on the phone. And now listen here, y'all. I don't talk on the phone for no 3 hours with anybody, okay? So me and her on the phone for like 3 hours. We talking. And somehow she just started getting into marriage and how she met her husband. And it's like she kept emphasizing it to me on the phone. And I'm with her like, well, yeah, I want this and I want that. And they got to be this and they got to be that. And she like, listen here. She said, do you hear yourself? Like, she had to kind of put me in check. Like, do you hear yourself? And I had to sit down and take a reflection at myself. So that analogy I'm saying, y'all, is right now, don't step on your frog. Don't step on your I'm about to say your frog. Don't step on your prince, okay? Don't dismiss your diamond in the rough, all right? That's all I'm trying to share with y'all, okay? Just a brief testimony. I know back when I used to do sales real tough, I had started dating this guy. And, you know, he's a catch to most of the ladies, okay? I'm telling you, the dude was fine, okay? He was fine. He was accomplished. He had a bachelor's degree, you know, tall, all of that good stuff. But, you know, I was too focused around that time on what I was doing. I was working in sales and, you know, I want to be the top recruiter and I want to do this, I want to do that. And he was like, hey, I'm not into that. He like, I'm not into like going out recruiting somebody and this and that. So I got so caught up with still trying to make this dude, like I liked him, so I didn't want to leave him. But I got so caught up with, you know, trying to make him out to what I wanted him to be that I started to kind of like, you know, downgrade him kind of, like downgrade his accomplishments kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a big deal for him to have that bachelor's degree. But, you know, to me, if you're not an entrepreneur, if you ain't got no vision, you know, it was just like, it wasn't working out, y'all. Let's put it that way, okay? I'm not saying he and I was meant to be together or nothing like that, and I regret it or nothing, because if we was meant to be together, we'll be together, okay? I'm just giving an example on how we can get caught up in trying to make people out to who they not. So if they not who they not, then leave them alone. Don't sit around and trying to make somebody out to who they want to be. Accept people for who they are and let them grow and blossom into that beautiful butterfly. Or, you know, let them become that diamond. Or, you know what I'm saying? Let them grow into that prince. Like, don't be so caught up with, you know, trying to make people out who you want them to be. Okay? Love people for who they are. Meet them where they at, if y'all get what I'm trying to say. So I hope this was articulated. Like I said, this message is for, you know, people, if you're in a relationship, appreciate who you with, okay? Appreciate who you with. Because, you know, you have some people, they, you know, they get out and they want to go out and test the waters, and they find out like, hey, man, the world is dying. It's some crazy sick stuff out here in the world. You know, so, you know, you don't want to mess up what you already got. You know what I'm saying? You want to, you know, build on what you already got, you know, and put it on the foundation of God too, okay? That's what you want to do. You want to build it on the foundation of God. And if you single and you watching this, you know, ask God for discernment. Ask God to lead and guide you. You know what I'm saying? But just don't get caught up with thinking everything got to be picture perfect on how you want it to be. You see what I'm saying? Because you got flaws too. That's how I remind myself when I was talking to my mother, well, not my personal mother, but, you know, the mother I was talking to, you know, she was just kind of like, what you mean? You know, like, it was just too much of, it got to be this, it got to be that, it got to be this, it got to be that. You know, have some flexibility is what I'm trying to say, okay? And again, I'm telling y'all, I'm not telling nobody to settle or anything like that, because it can be detrimental to settle, okay? It can be deadly to settle, okay? That is very dangerous. But I'm saying, you know, let the Holy Spirit guide you, okay? So anyways, y'all, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope y'all are having a great and amazing day, y'all. And I will see y'all in the next video. Okay.